Hello everybody, this is Maniac4Bricks. Several months ago, you might remember a LEGO haul that I did in trading with someone else, and I was able to receive a couple of really cool stuff that otherwise would have been very difficult and usually very expensive for me to find. And you might remember this as a particular haul, because this was the one about the Futuron Monorail set. I don't remember the exact name or number of it, but I was able to get most of the set in okay condition. It does have a few used parts here and there, and I know that everybody's been talking about what's used and what's new. This one has some that are definitely what everybody considers used. But regardless, I'm finally going through this set to figure out what's missing, what needs replacing, and how I can restore this thing to almost complete condition. I know I'm not going to get every single part of it correct, even some that are age specific. Depending on the piece, I don't really care for it that much, but I'd like to get at least the colors and type of piece correct. And hopefully we can go through this in a pretty decent fashion. So, as far as the track pieces go, all the pieces were there in that haul video, which I'll probably link up somewhere, or in the comments, or something. All the track pieces do work. They connect to each other just fine, they fasten on the studs on either side of them, and the switches work just right with the motor. So, the only issues that I have with any of these pieces that I would just have to polish up a little bit later on, some of them do have remnants of glue along the sides of them. I've mentioned that in the haul video as well. And that's basically because the used copy that I obtained was second-handed. I didn't get this from the original owner of the set. This was something that they received from somebody else, and that person, according to this trader, mentioned that they had a few parts here and there that were glued together because there were track pieces or certain parts of the train that just made it fasten so it wouldn't fall apart all the time. And I kind of understood that, and it didn't seem like a lot of exclusive pieces for this set that I couldn't replace on my own. So I just thought, now I can go through these and figure out what I need to do. Yeah, there are only a couple of track pieces like that have bits of glue, usually on the ends of them, but as far as the track itself, it still works just fine. I ran it through several times before, during, and after that haul video, so no problems with these. As far as the base goes, I do not have the base plate, which I was aware in the beginning, but I do have a good handful of the pieces, and this is something I'll talk about in the next update, but just to give you an idea, most of them are in here, as far as what pieces go to it, but I don't know how many of them are going to complete that model. I know that there are handfuls of pieces in here that are glued together from different sections of the base. There were one or two I had to reattach because they didn't completely fit right, or they're very loose and popped out easily. You can kind of see a little bit on there, on that top piece, a few plates that are a bit yellowed. And there's a whole bunch in this part of the set, and also other parts of the set that I've noticed were like that over time. There was a few in here that had remnants of glue, that, something previously was glued here, but it was popped off and now had just weird residue on it. So again, I will take care of that. And I know that there was one or two in here that were definitely worth replacing. There was a few of these that were kind of supports like this that were broken in half. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's what that piece was. Because I found like the other half of it. But yeah, that's what I mean. Broken right off. And actually, this might be one of the other sections of it. Right there. So yeah, it's very obvious that some of these are going to need replacing entirely. I actually don't mind broken pieces as long as I have the replacements for them. And for some of these, I do. Some of them I've actually been developing at Boneyard, which you might have seen once or twice in the aquarium videos. Link probably somewhere around here as well. But yeah, that's something that I thought was kind of cool to add in there over time. Now, for the part of the video that I've actually done a lot more work with it, and that is the minifigures and the monorail itself. Now, as far as the set goes, I was told that there were no minifigures included. And luckily, I have at least one copy of every color of Futuron member. I don't know if I have extras of them in order to qualify for the set, but as long as the model is there, I'm not really too concerned. I would like to get them, but that's something I can worry about a little later on. They're relatively common for the ones that came with this set, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, as far as the train goes, almost dropped the battery box on here, because it's just enough to fit on there. But here we have the monorail itself. I actually was, it was actually exciting rebuilding this as best as I could out of the pieces, because it's not completely symmetrical on either side. Yes, you have the obvious 9-volt motor on one side of it, but also how the windows are done, how there's a little more space on this side for passengers. This side actually has a little area with a scooter that you can pop out of there. I thought it was pretty cool how each of these have their own play features and different ways of access to them. But as far as the main structure of this thing, most of it is there. There's a couple yellow pieces every so often. You can see some on top of this lid area. There's a few underneath the 9-volt motor on the other side of this. And the motor does work. I have tested it, so A-okay on that. And even the light brick on top of here works. So no problems with the electrical stuff. A few pieces here and there have remnants or residue from glue, usually along the backs of these pieces or on them. It's not too hard where they won't pop off. But I did notice, they have one thing obvious here. This part is missing, this part is missing, and you can kind of see that along the other side. This is actually in the wrong spot. So I can take this part off, but these, the black bracket and the white 1x2 plate, those are glued to each other. So if I take a little bit of time, and I could probably take them off of each other, but if I can't, I have the parts elsewhere. They're pretty common, so I'm not worried about that. There was also one part that was missing on the very end of this, as you might notice from the other side, and that is the white tubing, which is just pulling through on this one, a bit yellowed, but it still works. I'm not, this is one that I've noticed over time. It sometimes pops off really easily from the sockets not holding in, but this works fine, and I just need to get another one of those for this side. This side has a whole bunch of windows that need to be added in there. They have a few of those 2x2 L-shaped plates to put in to hold this scooter in place. Other than that, this side seems pretty good. And on top of it, there's a look there. But yeah, as far as tiles and things, everything seems to work out. The middle does have a few pieces missing, which again, I'm sure I have in my collection. I just haven't found them yet. There's a few, I think there's a trans blue dish piece, and then maybe like a plate on top of that or something like that. But a small arrangement that it'll be not too hard to find those and try to put that back together so we can have this a fully operational thing. Now, I still don't know where exactly in the room it's going to go. I mean, even after a recent LEGO haul, which you'll probably see relatively soon on the channel, about DUPLO trains, I don't really have a lot of room for trains as far as layouts go. I mean, I have just enough to pull through for the 9-volt / power functions train assembly for my beach town, but outside of that, there's not a lot of table space for me to work with. The table I have here, which I just put that monorail on, is just short enough for fitting the entire monorail track, and that's before adding the base in there. And I know it's going to be shorter than what I need for the DUPLO trains coming up soon. Look forward to that. And I may have another table upstairs that I could put them on, but I'd have to check everything out, see how that'll all lay out. But if I can't fit it for right now, I will move it in at some point in the future, or have some part of it. Like, I would like to have where the Classic 60th Anniversary shelf is, maybe eventually do one for Classic Space. And I could add in not only the original Classic Space, but also maybe some of the Futuron stuff. So maybe for that, I wouldn't have the entire set in there, because it would be way too large for the shelf, but maybe just fit in like the track piece, the monorail itself, and maybe one or two parts from the set. Not the entire thing, because that would be too much, and I think it would dominate the entire thing, and then some. So, I'm just throwing ideas around here as far as what else will be done, but as far as this monorail set goes, it's in good production. I'm at least most of the way through the monorail itself. I still have to look for the minifigures, which I know I have some around here somewhere. And the next part I have for me to talk about is the base. I'm basically going through this to check what pieces are with what I traded, find out what I need to get replaced, and then going through and cleaning all of it. I mean, the electronics I'll keep out of it, but at least the other parts, I'm going to run them through soap and water. For the yellow pieces, I'll run them through hydrogen peroxide and other solutions, and then it'll look a lot better. And if they don't come out entirely, the yellow would just be nice for the age of it, the rustic look or something like that. So, thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I talked for about 10 minutes about something that could have been like an Instagram post or something, but I wanted to update you guys on YouTube in case you don't follow through Instagram. I have been doing a couple of previews of things upcoming through there, so hopefully we'll get those done relatively soon and then post them up on YouTube. We'll see you next time with more LEGO videos, and that was totally not a sneak peek. I'm gonna go eat dinner. Have a good day.